Hey, I'm Sam. Welcome to Brickwall Unplugged. Today I'm doing a Leonardo DiCaprio tier list. This is a big one. It's a long time coming. We have 18 of his movies here. There are some notable omissions that I just haven't got around to seeing, like What's Eating Gilbert Grape, for instance, I guess. But, whatever. Who cares? We got 18 of his movies here. That's enough. Let's get ranking. Some of these I've talked about before on my director tier lists, like the Scorsese ones, because I've done a big Scorsese tier list. Body of Lies came up on my Ridley Scott tier list. Django and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood came up on my Quentin Tarantino tier list. But we got some fresh ones here as well. Starting off with one that I have talked about before, Gangs of New York. And I don't remember where I ranked it on my Scorsese tier list. I never remember my rankings, even by the time I'm editing these videos. So I just got to go with my gut where I'm feeling in the moment. Gangs of New York, definitely not one of my favorite Scorsese movies, nor one of my favorite Scorsese and DiCaprio collaborations, even though Daniel Day-Lewis is really great as Bill the Butcher. Out of all of his long movies, Gangs of New York is Scorsese's only long movie that feels really long to me. It feels longer than it is. Whereas conversely, The Irishman, Killers of the Flower Moon, those breeze right by for me, and they feel a lot shorter than they are. Gangs of New York, though, it feels its length. It does have that really great opening, and like I said, Daniel Day-Lewis is great throughout. DiCaprio is just kind of okay in this one, I think. And Cameron Diaz, I don't really like what she's doing in this role, or the way that her character affects the plot. I feel like that doesn't quite work as well as some of the setting and world building things do. Those elements fare a little bit better. Gangs of New York, lesser Scorsese, but it is still good. It's still quality. It's like C or B. It's kind of right in the middle. I would give a C plus. I think I'll go B, because even a weaker Scorsese movie is still better than the best movie from a lot of filmmakers. Okay, Body of Lies. This one, very forgettable. You have DiCaprio and Russell Crowe, and it's supposed to be the two of them pairing up, and then Oscar Isaac's in there, and there's action and CIA espionage, stuff like that. And it just doesn't leave much of an impression. There's a romance that's central to the plot that just feels so implausible that these characters would ever even meet more than one time. So it's already stretching the bounds of plausibility from the get-go on that front. And then just the dynamic between DiCaprio and Crowe, when I've seen reviews for this movie, everyone's oh, they're dynamite together. They tear up the screen whenever they're in the same. I have to disagree, because I think every scene that they have is the same thing. It's one scene between them, and then they meet again, and the same scene plays out with the same exact dynamic of DiCaprio yelling and screaming, and then Russell Crowe, and he's a Bush-era stand-in for the pretty lukewarm social commentary. It doesn't drill very deep. And then it's just the same dynamic where DiCaprio yells and screams, Russell Crowe goes, "Hey, calm down, I'll tell you what you're looking for." And then it's just that, 3 or 4 or maybe 5 times when they meet. And there's not, I don't know, there's just not much to it. Doesn't do a lot for me. I might have given it a C on my Ridley Scott tier list, but how forgettable it is now that more time has passed, I don't think I can go above a D. Okay, Don't Look Up. This was a big movie when it came out, and it seemed like pretty much everybody hated it. I don't think I completely hated it, but I definitely would not say that I liked it either. The big issue with this is it's just so obnoxious about what it's saying and doing. It's it's making, good points, valid points, but it does them in such an obnoxious way. And most of the humor doesn't land. Jennifer Lawrence, I'm not a fan of in general, and this does not change that. She is not good here. DiCaprio also, this is probably his most boring performance from the past decade or so, where he really takes his time between projects these days. And I don't know what drew him to this one, because it's not an interesting character. It does have a huge jam-packed cast. Cate Blanchett is really good in it, actually, in her supporting role. Mark Rylance is really good. Other people like Jonah Hill, he's bad in this one. He's not always bad. I do like him in Wolf of Wall Street, but he's not good in this. Very hit or miss. Chalamet is really obnoxious in this one, too, which is on theme for the movie, on brand. Yeah, I don't know. This one, I think it's another D, honestly. I don't hate it as much as some people, though. I don't think it's worthless or unbearable. It's watchable. But again, a lot longer than it needs to be. It's got that Netflix bloat issue. Okay, next up is The Great Gatsby. This is the one that Baz Luhrmann directed, as opposed to the older version that starred Robert Redford, which I'm not really a fan of that one either. Spoiler alert, I'm not a fan of this one. Nor am I a fan of the Robert Redford one, nor am I a fan of the book, which I read back in high school. I don't really care for this story on any level. And this is, I think, a worse execution than the Robert Redford one. which I already didn't like. Baz Luhrmann, I find just such a, like, he's like gratuitous in all the wrong ways, whereas like Wolf of Wall Street is intentionally gratuitous in a pointed way that's really effective. Baz Luhrmann, all of his movies feel so gratuitous in a way that's just like overstimulating nonsense for the sake of like spectacle. I don't like his style. And Great Gatsby, I think it's another D. I swear I don't dislike DiCaprio. We got a bunch of his clunkers up front, I guess. But here we go. Here's one that I like. Django Unchained. This is a rare villain role for him. He's played plenty of like anti-heroes, but usually the leading role. He's one of Hollywood's preeminent leading men, and here he has played a villain role for Quentin Tarantino. And he does a great job in this villain role. He's very memorable. Got an Oscar nomination for it, and it was well-deserved, up against his co-star, Christoph Waltz, which is pretty cool. That doesn't happen too often. Django Unchained is really solid. It's got great action scenes. It's a great, like, I wouldn't even say message, but it's a great, like if you didn't know, there's a whole genre, or like little subgenre microcosm of blaxploitation westerns from back in the 70s. This is almost like a revitalization of that, but obviously pulling a lot from like spaghetti westerns, which those old blaxploitation westerns already were doing, and of course the actual like Django movies, Django being, a character from Italy. Also, Tarantino was in a movie as an actor from director Takashi Miike called Sukiyaki Western Django. So he acted in a Django before he made his Django. Anyway, Django's really good. It's definitely an A, if not S. Gangs of New York's like halfway between B and C. Django's like halfway between A and S. I think I'm going to leave it an A for the time being. Okay, next up is Titanic. I've said before when this has come up on like, I don't think in tier lists, or actually, yeah, I did do a James Cameron tier list, but it's also come up in like, whenever I react to lists like the IMDb Top 250, the Letterboxd Top 250, it's always in lists like this. And I just don't see why. It's a really well-made movie, very well put together, and it's fine. It's very middle of the road. I think it's a C-tier movie. I don't think there's a ton to get excited about here. It's fine. It's just like weirdly pumped up by people. Okay, Wolf of Wall Street. Similar to Django, this is like between A and S. Scorsese is really going through like, I don't know, his twilight years are also his golden years, I think, with these big, long, epic-feeling movies. Wolf of Wall Street, he kind of brings the style that he had perfected in the gangster genre over to white-collar crime with this, like, Wall Street stuff, which, like, it's not all that different, let's be honest. And it's really good. DiCaprio is excellent. I think this might be one of his best performances as this Jordan Belfort guy. I think it's so gross, but also perfectly fitting for the themes that the real Jordan Belfort guy loves this movie and loves how he's portrayed and thinks it makes him like look super cool. He misses that it's like making him look like absolute scum. That's very on brand for that type of person. And then of course there's like this weird thing where a lot of like trashy, alpha male people idolize this character, missing the point of the movie as thoroughly as you could possibly miss it. But that's not the movie's fault. It's a really great movie. Next up is another Scorsese collaboration with The Departed. Again, I don't think this is one of Scorsese's best. It's the one that he won a Best Director Oscar for and whatnot. It is really good. But I think it's probably the weakest of his gangster movies, Gangs of New York notwithstanding, because I do think it's better than that one. Now I'm in a quandary because The Departed is definitely a tier above Gangs of New York. So it's a question of, do I move Gangs of New York down, or do I move Wolf of Wall Street up? Because there's definitely a buffer between these three. I think I'm going to do this. I think I'm going to go S for Wolf of Wall Street, A for Departed, B for Gangs of New York. Okay, Revolutionary Road. This one has some good elements, but it just doesn't really come together for me. Michael Shannon steals the show. Unfortunately, he only has like one big scene, and then he's out of the picture. I'll talk about this more when I do my Michael Shannon tier list, which is coming up soon. That one's in the pipeline. It's DiCaprio, Kate Winslet. It's the Titanic duo teaming up for like another romance, except it's almost like an anti-romance. It's not a very romantic movie. It's a case where both these characters are just so insufferable, and then like the movie has these ups and downs, these ebbs and flows, but I only believe the low points with them. That's part of it. But then I don't know, that's not really a problem. Like that could still work. The real issues are just that it feels so overwrought and melodramatic and schmaltzy, and even like it gets a little like emotionally manipulative at times, I think. And then there's stuff where like the children that they have are just like they have no presence in the movie. It feels like they don't actually exist. There's just like weird stuff going on. Everything feels phony and artificial, not like lived in and real. Yeah, this one it doesn't work for me. Michael Shannon is honestly like the only bright spot of this movie. Yeah, I think I got to go D again. I didn't realize he had this many D tier movies, but I guess so. Okay, next up, The Aviator. Yet another Scorsese collaboration. This is his Howard Hughes biopic. And The Aviator, I think, is really good. It's a movie that gets better as it moves along. Like, it goes in some, like, if you're not familiar with Howard Hughes, it goes in some unexpected directions. If you know the trajectory of that guy's life, then, you kind of know where it's going, probably. But if you go blind and just go, oh, it's an airplane guy, it gets a lot more intense and psychologically interesting than you would expect from just that. So if you don't know the story of Howard Hughes, don't look it up, going cold on that. DiCaprio is excellent in this one, especially in the latter stages of the movie when he starts getting into the character's psychosis, his neuroses, and his OCD. Then it gets really intense and interesting. Cate Blanchett's really good too in her supporting role. The Aviator, I think it's an A, and the A stands for Aviator. Next up is Inception. Now, I have a reputation as a Nolan hater for some reason, and this isn't going to help. I've said it before, Inception I find just incredibly overrated. It's a fine movie. I feel honestly pretty similar as I do to Titanic, where it's really well made, it's fine, it's competent, it's entertaining enough, but it doesn't excel in any area, and I don't find it as mind-blowing as a lot of people seem to, or as original or captivating. It's just some mindless popcorn fodder. That's where it begins and ends for me. Okay, next up, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Now, I covered this on my Tarantino tier list, and I don't remember if at the time I had already read the Once Upon a Time in Hollywood book. I think I might have, or maybe I was like in the process of reading it. I have read it at this point. I think I did talk about it on there. That book is not good. I don't like that book whatsoever. And that book, if you take the book into account when evaluating the movie, it makes the movie worse. Especially the Cliff Booth character, that's Brad Pitt's character, so much worse in the book. And when you take the like backstory info from the book and you like watch the movie with that in mind, it really like ruins that whole character. But when judging the film in isolation, I think it's good, but it's not one of Tarantino's best. I think my opinion on it has kind of waned a bit over the years. I did really, really enjoy it when I first watched it. And then even my like second watch, I still enjoyed it. But on a third watch, I wasn't into it as much. And it is hard to separate the book from that. I don't know. I think I probably gave it an A on my Tarantino tier list. But the more I think about it, Django is definitely a better movie. And I think it is more like a B. Yeah, it's pretty similar to Gangs of New York, where like it's not that director at the height of their powers. Okay, next up is The Quick and the Dead. This is a Western from Sam Raimi, I think, before, as he was transitioning from like horror with The Evil Dead before doing the Spider-Man movies and stuff. This one gets forgotten about, but it's pretty entertaining. It definitely like, it's goofy in that Sam Raimi way. Like it's definitely like his sense of humor. I don't know, it's not very like realistic or plausible or anything like that, but it's clearly not trying to be. You can see Gene Hackman and Sharon Stone on the poster there. Also, Russell Crowe is in it, and he's pretty good, actually, in this role. DiCaprio he was pretty young when this one came out. I think it's pre-Titanic, or maybe like yeah, I'm pretty sure it's pre-Titanic. He's pretty young. He plays like the young kid gunslinger in this. And honestly, he's like a little annoying. I feel like that age of DiCaprio, like that's why I haven't watched What's Eating Gilbert Grape and whatever, because he became a better actor later on. He was pretty annoying when he was younger, I think, but he's still, I don't know. He's probably the weakest link in this movie, but it's a pretty fun movie overall. It gets overlooked for some reason, even though it's got a lot of big names and a big director and all that. I think it's probably a C. It's a fun time. It's nothing serious, but it's fun enough. Okay, Romeo plus Juliet. This is Baz Luhrmann again from The Great Gatsby, that director. And there are so many adaptations of Romeo and Juliet, and I've seen like a handful of them. This is easily the worst one. I cannot stand this movie. I find it so obnoxious. Everything about it stylistically, every creative choice just rubs me the wrong way, like full stop. I'm tempted to go all the way to F with this one, honestly. Like, I cannot stand this movie. I think I'm going to go F. Fuck it. The F stands for fuck it. Okay, Killers of the Flower Moon, polar opposite, S tier. Bang, easy. Talked about this on my Scorsese list and more recently on my De Niro tier list. So I'll keep it quick here and just say this is such a masterwork. Well above The Wolf of Wall Street, even though I think it does do enough to still get the S tier. Killers of the Flower Moon, incredible work. I've seen it twice now, and I'm already so eager to watch it again. It's really one of the best movies made in the past 10, 20 years. Really incredible stuff. This is the tippy top of the S tier. Okay, Catch Me If You Can. This is him and Tom Hanks and Christopher Walken's in there. It's a pretty fun movie, but it's also very, I don't know, disposable, I would say. It's like, I mean, people say it's based on a true story, but if you look into it, it's like not at all. Like, it's full of bullshit. It's like a con that the character would do to call it a true story. But it's pretty entertaining. I don't know. It goes by quickly. It's fun. Tom Hanks is doing a wild accent. I don't know why anyone ever lets him attempt an accent. He never pulls it off. But whatever, he's fine. Christopher Walken's good at his role. DiCaprio's okay. I don't think it's one of his best performances, but not a weaker one either. I think it's another C. Shutter Island, the last Scorsese collaboration on the list. I love this movie. I might be one of the biggest fans of this movie out there. I think it's probably Scorsese's like most underrated. Or not really underrated, because people do like it, but it's just, I don't think it gets quite as much love as it should. I think this thing is phenomenal. Such a perfectly crafted thriller. Every little directorial choice works. DiCaprio's great. He really sells like the madness and the mania and the PTSD and the trauma of this character. It's good. I think I'd go all the way to S tier with it. Most people, I think, probably B or something. You can make a case for A. I think A is also fair, but for me, it's an S. It goes all the way up. Okay, next up is The Revenant. This is a big deal. This is what got him his Oscar, finally, after all those years. And I don't know. It's like everyone was rooting for him to get the Oscar, and then it seems like everyone, like, turned on it. It was like, wait, that sucked. Overnight, people kind of, like, flipped on that one. I've always kind of felt like it's pretty good. As a follow-up from Alejandro González Iñárritu to Birdman, it's definitely a big step down and disappointment, but it is still like visually stunning. And the like violence is really well executed. And then he took another step down with that Bardo movie. I did not like that one at all. I think that came out after I did my Alejandro González Iñárritu tier list. And I do think DiCaprio is like quite good in this. It's a very animalistic performance, a very physical performance, which to some people they see that as like lesser acting, and I don't think that's true at all. I think he is doing like really committed, powerful stuff here. You know, it's funny to say, oh yeah, you eat a raw liver and you win an Oscar. It's like, yeah, okay, you can say it's a little gimmicky, but he is doing really good physical stuff here. He really sells the turmoil and the desperation of this character and in this situation. I don't think it's a great movie. There's not a lot of substance to it is the thing, but it's gorgeous and it's a real like experience film. I think it's a B, a pretty solid time. So here's our tier list. It's a much wider spread than I expected. I often have a perception of an actor that doesn't end up lining up with the actual results. And in this one, I was definitely envisioning DiCaprio as a higher tier overall actor. But when I evaluate the films individually, yeah, I think this is where I rank them. This is the spread. So thanks for watching. You can check out my other tier lists. There will be a link on screen here. You can also check out the Brickwall Patreon if you want. For $5 a month to get videos early. Patreon supporters got this video early. There's also bonus videos that are only available on the Patreon that will never be uploaded to YouTube. That Patreon is for both this channel and my main channel, Brickwall Pictures. So, 2 for the price of 1. Anyway, I'll see you next time. So long.